Hi, Sheena.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
I'm
Hi.
showing off my 3-year-old. You're going to learn why this is subjective when people ask you, well, how many days, weeks, or months, years is it considered evolving? Now, I don't call it age. That's something Harry calls it. I call it evolving or evolutionary or whatever you want to call it. It's an evolving organ because it evolves the moment it leaves the bladder and you collect it. And this is not impressive when Doc Mike, he shipped me his 12-year-old. He had 12-year-old Orin. And we've been using Orin and evolving Orin to bring back and resuscitate and revolve and heal Dr. Vijay Gupta, who's been in and out of ER and rehab, and he's back home with his wife. I'm going back there this afternoon. I've been giving him evolving Orin massages.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to learn all kinds of cool stuff. Is that a real fire?
It is a real fire.
Oh, hi, Curtis. He's going to get tapped in. Look at that. He's got big ears.
Yeah, he's a youngster. He has the devices.
Yes, and some of these 20-year-olds feel like they were born cable ready.
That's right. You know what I call myself? A techno peasant. That's what I am.
A techno peasant from Switzerland.
Yeah. And Curtis, hello, Curtis. He would be a techno native.
He's a techno wizard.
Yeah, techno wizard, techno native. They're born with it.
All right, so we got Sheena, Monica, Curtis, Elizabeth, Vienna, maybe joining us from UK, and Anya, who's in Germany, will either join us on this one or 2 classes later, and she'll do some privates, one-on-ones with me. Everybody bring something refreshing.
Yes.
Something potent, something
cheers,
sacred. All right, so let's do a quick opening prayer. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to, on the first class, we're going to do an overview of everything. And then we're going to go deeper as the classes go on. So we're going to learn basics. We're going to learn the Shivambhu wisdoms. You're going to learn ingredients. You're going to learn protocols. You learn how to give general suggestions to people so they can do their own protocols. You'll learn how the intuition plays a part. You'll learn how faith plays a part. You'll learn how to help people who are sitting on the fence. They have negative associations with Orin, or they have disbelief. I'll teach you how to talk to the naysayers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The first thing you ever want to say to someone if they say it's this or that, you say, "Can you have an open mind? Can you have an open mind?" I like to share something, even if they don't even bring the subject up. When you want to introduce it and you're feeling a little bit intimidated, you can say, "Hey, I've got something that's changed my life. It's made a huge difference. Can you keep an open mind?" Because they're going to need that, because you're going to drop an idea in there that's foreign to most people's thinking.
Yeah, definitely necessary.
But when you practice it day in and day out, and you have enough personal experience with it, your confidence and your certainty becomes an all-time high. Now, just because I've been doing this since 1994 doesn't mean I have an advantage over anybody. It's just that my faith is at an all-time high with this water. And so people get when they're standing next to you, Monica, you're serious. I'm going to trust your word and try this.
No, I'm a believer. Totally
Amen.
believer. I've only done it for maybe 3 months now. And yeah, it's changed my life already.
Thank you. So yeah, the experience alone is your determining factor. If anybody asks you, do you have scientific research? Do you have any evidence? And do you have any peer review articles? I'm going, I don't know about that. All I know is that when I drink my urine, my Shivambhu, I feel better. You'll be having conversations with all kinds of people. So get your water and let's do an opening prayer. Curtis, everybody else, do you have a copy of this, either hard copy or PDF?
Yeah, I got one.
You do? Okay, good. Because when we get into the reading part of the class, I'll ask people who want to take turns reading the book.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to read a prayer from the first book I wrote called Healing Water from Within. By the way, we're working on, I have a virtual assistant in California. We're working on shrinking this down to a handheld size with 50 to 60 pages of the most important answers, how, what, why of this practice and this movement. And we're going to make it real affordable so anybody on the planet can get their hands on a bunch of them and start handing them out in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Good idea.
Since you guys caught on that there's a movement worldwide going on. In case you didn't hear the stats, 2 years ago we determined there's 30 million pee drinkers on this planet with over 50 countries. And that was 2 years ago. We might be peaking 40 million by now. Our goal is 300 million. That's the tipping point.
Well, I think a lot of people have lost confidence in medicine,
Oh, yeah.
you know, over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. And
you
we
got to
will-
find your own doctor.
You got to find your own doctor. And guess what? He came with your
It's-
body.
That's right. It's so awesome.
What's a real comfort to our minds, you're going to love this, Curtis. For people who are minimalists, or people think that they're, oh, he's going to go, it's fresh. I don't know what he's doing. You in the living room?
He likes it warm.
He's as fresh as can be. He's standing still. Oh, he's looking for the book? He didn't prepare. What is this? No problem. I'm gonna wait for him to come back. Any quick questions before he gets back here? Anybody have a question?
Yeah. No, not right now, I guess.
That's okay. I'm gonna have plenty for you guys. Curtis, let it go. He brought his enema tube. What is he doing? Curtis, welcome back. Are you with us now? Every generation has their way, I guess. So here's good news. For people who are minimalists, or for people who are concerned that we might run out of food on our planet, and that crazy scenario might play out, the good news is, as long as you can put your two hands together and you can make a cup out of your hands, and you can pee, you can thrive on planet Earth anywhere.
Mhm.
And when you get
Yeah.
to, do you get that yet? If this is truly 3,000 nutrients of the most power-packed, actively living water, bioavailable water on the planet. This is distilled water. This is living water. And it has all the nutrients in perfect combination down to micro sizes that can satisfy nutrition and your hunger, satisfy hydration needs and your thirst. Here's your health food store.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your pharmacy. If you're out in the middle of nowhere and you can pee, you'll make it.
That's how Jesus survived in the desert for 40 days.
That's what I hear.
And all those breatharians that you hear,
Yep.
that's what they use.
Yep.
Mm.
There was this one guy who was from India. I don't know if he's still around. He's like hit 100 and something. Hadn't eaten anything for like 75 years. He was this holy man. And everybody was taking him to the hospital and testing him out in one way or the other. How can he live off air? And they came up with this theory is that he found a way to, when he had to urinate, cause it to go back into the body and recirculate. And he was living off his own urine in a loop, in a system in his body.
Yeah. In the womb, perpetually in the womb.
Yeah, we are for that. Look at that. He's prepared.
Well, I'm not going that far. I love food. You know,
Food is
the
fine.
Creator has put food, so much variety of food on the planet.
Yes.
It almost seems sacrilegious not to,
And it brings
to
you
enjoy
pleasure.
it.
There's the pleasure factor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Curtis, are you with us now? Unmute yourself.
It was lagging for me for a bit because I'm hotspotting my phone. We don't have Wi-Fi. I just moved into this place.
Okay. All right, you got your water. We're going to do a quick communion.
Yep.
Here's how it works. Hold on, I need one. This is my 24-hour-old.
24-year-old. That's a big one.
No, the most I ever had was 3 or 4-year-old. This is the 3-year-old, and I'm going to talk about it at some point here. So this is how this prayer works. It's from the first book that came out called Healing Water from Within. And you're familiar with going to kirtan and doing mantras?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a call or response format. I'll say a line, you'll say a line. And we'll go back and forth at the end. We'll go cheers, and you'll take a drink.
You want us to mute or
Say it
mute our microphones
Say
to
it all
do that?
together. All together.
Mhm.
It sounds way cool that way. Okay, you ready? I take this water of life.
I take this water of life.
I declare it the water of light.
I declare it the water of light.
Curtis, did you want to be muted?
Right.
Okay, either way. As I bring this water within this body,
I bring
As
this
I
water
bring this
within
water
this water.
within this body,
it allows me to glow.
it allows me
Allows
to
me to
glow.
glow.
I take this water of light.
I take this water of light.
I declare it the water of God.
I declare it
the water,
the water of God.
I am the master of all that I do and all that I am.
I am the master of all that I do and all that I am.
So be it.
So be it.
So be it.
Cheers.
Good year. Good year. So let's do a quick meet and greet. Everybody, we want to hear everybody take a few minutes, not get into a big story here, but just take a few minutes and tell us how you got started. What was your influence? Was it a person, a book, a video? And what have you noticed the most from using it? Monica, would you start us off?
Okay, so my name is Monica Lawrence. I live in a place called Silver Star near Vernon right now. And I years ago, it's 20 plus years ago, some friends of mine told me about it, and I tried it then for a while, and then I stopped. I don't know why. I just, anyway, so now 3 or 4 months ago, I watched this podcast on Alpha Vedic with Eric Carsoro.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about it and how it healed him and all that. And then I thought, oh shit, I'm gonna start this up again. And so I filled up. Got 2 jars. Well, I actually got 3 jars going. That one I want to age for a year at least, and the other 2 I age for. I fill one up, drink it, and while I drink that one, I fill up the other one. So it's always kind of aged. Aged is after 2 or 4 days. You can call it evolved, or how you call it.
Evolved
So,
or evolving.
Yeah. So I went right into the evolved stuff, and I put it on my face, and it's so soft and smooth, and I put it in my eyes and snorted, and my sinuses are clear, and I don't need to nap anymore in the afternoon. I always, like, after around 2 o'clock, I had a crash. I just needed to lie down. I don't need to do that anymore. I feel totally energized and vitalized, and I can eat much less. I eat maybe 2 or sometimes even only once a day. It's it's
A miracle.
It's an elixir of life.
It is.
Of vitality and health and beauty and youth and it's
Thank
awesome.
Good to have you here, Monica.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, tell us a little bit how you got into Shivambhu urine therapy and what was your influence and anything that you've noticed that's obvious.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I have been studying Ayurveda for a while, and Ayurveda, talks a lot about urine therapy. So I've always been interested in it. And then my mentor, Dr. Tom Cowan, he started talking about it too. And then I just Googled and I found Brother Sage. I got some books. I got this one, which you said that was your first Bible, right?
That was my urine Bible, yeah.
I went to Amazon first and got this Golden Fountain book. So I've been drinking it. I really like, what I like the most is doing the eye wash, actually, to be honest, with the eye cup. So I do that. My urine tastes a little bit bitter. So I have to work on that. I'm under really high demands at work. I run a physical therapy clinic and I have my private practice. So I have 2 full-time businesses. I'm very dedicated to my patients. I've done, like I was just telling Brother Sage, I've been using urine massage on 2 of my female patients for their tightness in their quadriceps, which I had great results with. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm actually currently in my mom's house and my parents' house in Switzerland. I take these care trips to my 95-year-old mom every 2 to 3 months. And I pack up what I can, all the tools I can, including my hands. And so I'm hoping that I might find some applications for her too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There's 24 applications. And we came up with a new one when I went to the hot springs 3 weeks ago, which is the night mask soaked with urine.
Yeah.
And if you can find one of these that are cotton, some kind of material that'll hold a wad liquid in there, just lay down and hold it over your eyes for an hour. And if you want, some people actually put a soft bean bag over it to weigh it down.
Mm-hmm.
These protocols you'll discover. Now, when I first wrote my first book, I only knew about 11 protocols, but in 3 years after that, new ones were discovered. New ones were taught to me. This came out last year, the handheld nebulizer. And we're going to talk a lot about belly button and navel soaks, as well as other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sheena, introduce yourself. Tell us what got you going on this journey and anything you want to share about your experiences.
Yeah, I'm Sheena. I'm from British Columbia. Monica, we'll have to connect because my brother,
Yeah.
he lives on Tillicum Road.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Wow.
yeah. So I was totally divinely guided to this in November of last year. It came to me via a PDF on Telegram. It was originally 253 pages of testimonies. And so I started scrolling through it and it was about urine therapy. And so I thought, oh, this is like interesting. And so I thought, oh, I'll just come back to the page. And then I lost it. And so, but I started Googling or looking up urine therapy and all this old information like J.W. Armstrong, The Water of Life came to me. So I totally like read that book and found that like totally awesome. And there was, yeah. And so I'm house sitting. And so around Christmas time, I sort of let it go a little bit. And then when I came here, I had more time to study. And yeah, and I always thought, oh, I wish I could find the 253-page document of testimonies that I was reading. And then one night, oh my God, I found it on the internet. So it was actually on the Aquarius water bearer on his his website. So
Norton Weber, yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, and then Brother Sage's Google, some of his or YouTube stuff came to me. And so I was watching some of Brother Sage, and yeah, here I am. And I started a Orin water fast on March or February 2nd. So,
Are you still on it?
oh yeah, I'm going to keep going.
Right on. Are you documenting it?
I am, yeah.
Well,
So,
good.
yeah.
How many days are you going for?
You know what? My goal's 40, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, well, right now, Monica Schutt is on day 14 or 15. She's going for 40 days.
Nice. Okay.
So you're in good company.
Yeah.
Anybody get the pun on that one? You're in good company. All right. We're going to get a lot of P jokes in this group, I can tell. Curtis, tell us about yourself, your journey, and what got you started.
I've always been intrigued. I was following a guy on Instagram, Abu Shadi, who started talking about it. And, it kind of intrigued me, but I didn't really think too much of it. And then just as I was about to move from our old place into our new place, I was going to get rid of social media, which I did get rid of it. I got rid of Instagram and Facebook, but on one of his stories, it had a list of people who to follow. And for some reason, Brother Sage jumped out to me. I looked at his page quick and I seen he was making a course of this. And I was just like, now or never, because the only reason I would know anything of it would be social media. So I figured I would take this course because that's the only way I do things is I like to dive deep. So that's actually the first time I've ever tried it. So I'm fresh.
Okay, well, good. It's a beautiful road. It's a sacred road. It will unravel all kinds of things in your entire body, mind, emotions, and spirit. And
Yeah, good for you to start so young.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
What's your age, Curtis? How old are you?
30.
Congratulations. So we've got a good group to work with today. We're going to start off with talking about what part faith plays in this movement, and then we're going to go into the wisdoms. Page 11. If you got the PDF, it's chapter 3. Some people just have PDF. And if you want to highlight and underline while we go, some people like to do that. I'm one of those guys. And this is important to get to know, because when your faith is strong, your faith in your creator, or the faith in the Shiva water, or the faith of the blood of the Lord, however you define it, it's going to be transferred to the people who are scared, suffering, hurting, and they found their way to you, and they're going to rely on you to, with your strength and your confidence, to help them to make the leap, to get on this journey. So faith is a big part of this. It's also going to help out, and I get clients from all over the world. They're asking about their symptoms and what are they feeling and what are they going through. And 9 times out of 10, it's a detox, but they're not trained in detoxification and purification. So when they see that happen, they think they're getting worse or they're getting sick, and their body's doing its job really well. So that's one good thing to understand. All right, I'm going to read this to you guys. I'll be number 1, and then I'll pass it on to someone else. All right, how faith or trust plays a role in urine therapy. Sri Santabalji considered Orin therapy to be the boon of nature and a blessing by God for humanity. He describes human Orin as a divine and most powerful medicine. God has shown us this sure cure of all diseases. The truly wise person considers Orin as the best of all cures. Its prowess is indestructible. All of the many opinions about AUT are worth considering with an open mind. It can be seen in all religions, all cultures, I added that word, and ancient Indian sects, including the Jains and the Buddhists, who have considered the Orin cure to be a sure cure. And as was mentioned earlier, the origin of Ayurvedic medicine was urine therapy, for those that know that. Even the researchers are also slowly but unreservedly approving the sterling qualities of UT. All these opinions and verdicts are good eye openers. Has it occurred to you that Shivambhu is your water of personal aliveness, well being, and possibly a road to physical immortality? Without questions, concerns, or fears about getting better, you know that Shivambhu is healing you or has healed you by now. Orin is the perfect elixir arriving in the most perfect timing when you need it. Faith clears obstructions, inflammation, toxins, pathogens, as these are being cleansed and released permanently from the body. Faith reminds you that you will never have to buy or use supplements or medications because it's all in the water. Can't tell you how many people I talk to that still have a whole closet full of nutritional supplements. They got into urine therapy. They don't use them anymore, and they're not sure what to do with them.
That's me.
Yeah, so you can keep them, you can trash them, you can give them away, you can donate them to the food shelter. I don't know, you'll figure something out. Of course, not everybody. Where am I? Faith reminds you will never buy supplements again. Faith in Shivambhu will guide you to choose living foods, lighter foods, less food, or no food without resistance or conflict. Faith in Shivambhu clears the mind so creativity, imagination, and curiosity will reawaken. Of course, not everyone is ready for this leap of faith, which is to begin drinking pee. Instead of obsessing over taste and smell, Orin is a sample of what is flowing through your veins, and any repulsion to Orin or action, any response to Orin is a motivation to improve the internal conditions rather than an excuse for not using Orin therapy. This is usually a breaking point for some people. Well, I'm getting sick, or it doesn't work, but they're not changing their diet. And we're going to talk about the holistic approach to this, and why this works for some people and not for other people. All right, where's my cursor? There it is. Moment by moment, it is faith, also known as trust, that is steadying and balancing you. Faith is guiding, carrying you while you are navigating through the mind and its endless stream of ideas and chatter. Trust in your own living water, along with the daily practice utilizing a variety of UT protocols, and you will achieve perfect health, well-being, abundance, and overwhelming feelings of gratitude for life. Our holy water purifies, cleanses, restores, and regenerates every area of life. Healing yourself and reclaiming your body occurs while the mind and spirit are being realigned, thanks to the related nutrients found in Orin. Almost done here. Shivambhu devotees report a richness and a greater quality of life. Their clear minds, blended with a calm relaxation and joy, brings them home to their natural way of being. Thank you, Shivambhu. I am now at peace and am enjoying all the beauty, blessings, and bounty in this moment. Faith is sending me one client at a time that is eager to return to a superior quality of life. My faith is increasing, so are my clients' faith and their daily practice. The results are becoming exhilarating and transformational for us both. Above all things, have faith in the presence or the light in us all. Now take the Shivambhu message to the world that's seeking answers to their health matters. So you see what part that plays? Any questions, any comments?
Yeah, it's like it's so perfect because it's so responding to your body. It comes from your body. That's why it's perfectly what your body needs. It's individual to each body, right?
Right. Now, what the Shivambhu does is it comes already encoded with the blueprint of what a perfect cell is. So when you take the water, some call it the nectar of immortality, some call it Shivambhu, some call it the water of life. You take that back into your body, it will activate the body's memory of what perfection is, and it'll start putting that into the water. You'll take it and you put it back in, and immediately it starts to purify, cleanse, restore, regenerate. It works on the nutrients, getting into the cells, the bloodstream, bringing in the antibodies, the stem cells, thousands of nutrients that are designed perfectly for you, including getting your immune system more powerful than any virus or germ out there.
Question. So if somebody is deficient in minerals or anything, how does the body then still produce that, and it still comes out in your urine even though you're deficient?
Yes, and because it comes from the blood, it's not coming from the food. It's the blood plasma that's being filtered 1,000,000+ times through the kidneys as it takes it from, originally the blood plasma is stored in the bone marrow, along with red blood cells, along with white blood cells. So when it makes its way through the liver, it breaks it apart and sends the plasma to the kidneys. The kidneys are a filtration system, not an organ of elimination. So what it's doing is making it into the smallest possible size of the perfect combination at the perfect time for you to do what you know to do with it. It has an intelligence far superior than us. And when we get more and more, when you go deeper down this rabbit hole, guys, you'll discover that Shivambhu is in a class all to itself. So to try to describe something that is infinitely potential to help your body to restore its health, you're going to have to do your best to convey that to other people. That's why we kind of talk in a simple way like a fifth grader would. Can I answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go over the Shivambhu wisdoms. You guys get that chart? I'm going to talk about this from class to class until you guys kind of get a handle on it. Number one, Shivambhu is an intuitive medicine. You're going to need that for your own use. You're going to need to know that from the people who ask you all kinds of questions that you know is an intuitive medicine. They'll intuitively already know the answer. When should I take it? How long should I take it? Should I do age? Should I do fresh? What if I'm doing prescription drugs? What if I'm eating meat and dairy? What if I? Right? So you want to empower these people so that you're not held up like their master, their guru, their healer, and you empower them to take responsibility for their own well-being. Number one, it's an intuitive medicine. I'm going to pull out my chart. Number two, Shivambhu alchemizes everything it touches. As part of being an intuitive medicine, I hope you guys will hear this part here. It's free from dogma, rules, or any other form of authority, or even superstition. The reason I bring that up is because how many people read the Damar Tantra? The Damar Tantra, which happens to be listed in my newest book called The Secrets of Youthing. The Damar Tantra is the 5,000-year-old holy scriptures of urine therapy, in which Shiva, our buddy Shiva, tells his consort Parvati what his secret is. She outs him. She outs her husband. Imagine your husband's God and your kid is an elephant, and you say to your partner, Shiva, how come you don't age? How come you're always strong? You're vibrant. You're sexy. What's your secret? He says, drink of yourself and you will live. And so he lays out this 9-year program, how to heal everything, and at the end of this 9-year program, how to achieve physical immortality. Pretty cool, huh? So in there's a verse that says, and this is why I'm trying to teach you that it's not about superstition, tradition, or dogma. There's a verse in the Damar Tantra when he says, eliminate the beginning of the stream, drink the midstream, and throw away the last part of the stream. Have you heard that theory?
Yeah.
Okay. That was based on the belief, and there's a verse right after that. If you read the Damar Tantra, the next verse says, this is based on the belief that it represents a snake. So the head of the snake, the tail of the snake could kill you, break you, or whatever. That's superstition. Because today in 2022, we know that every drop is precious. Every drop is sterile. Every drop cannot be contaminated. That's why I say it's in a class all to itself.
Okay, so don't do the midstream, not necessary to waste. Yeah, okay. Okay,
You're
that's
going to come across in your own studies as well as visiting social media that there are people that say things that sound like a rule. It has to be like this. It has to be like that. People say, well, what if I am taking prescription drugs or I'm taking recreational drugs or smoking cigarettes, cannabis, whatever? Can I still do urine therapy? I said, of course you can. I wouldn't take it at the same time unless you're doing topical applications. See, if you take it at the same time you're doing prescription drugs and all that other stuff, your body's going to see it as an invader and go after it right away. So I always recommend you have a window of time, an hour on either side of it before doing that. But the concern that it's going to cause you harm because you're doing these other things is just a belief system. You're putting nutrients in the body. Ultimately, what you're going to have to do is clean up your diet and change your lifestyle. And that you're going to come across a lot with people say, oh, so I just have to drink it and everything will be great, right? I said, no, you'll get incremental changes and it'll be like a Band-Aid. This is why when people say, well, it'll heal everything, I said, it'll heal everything, but slower if you don't make changes.
well, the thing is, it tastes awful when you don't have a clean diet, right? It really shows.
Yeah. It shows
So,
the smell, the texture, the taste, everything.
yeah.
The more you move to raw foods and the more you do the fruitarian thing, the more you're doing fasting, it gets to be like a light, sweet coconut water. And when you get to that point, you'll be thrilled about looping all day. You guys know what looping is?
Yep.
Okay, number 3. Shivambhu alchemizes everything it touches.
What's looping?
Looping, I'll briefly tell you now, then we'll go into it when we get into the protocols. Looping is drinking all your output for the day. Every time you pee, you collect, you drink. Versus sip looping, a term that came to us from Doc Mike Whittort. And that term means every time you pee and you collect it, sip some, save the rest. Like you're doing a shot of it. And that's similar to time-released supplements. So you're getting a little bit dripped into your body throughout the day. That's sip looping. So here's how it alchemizes everything it touches. And what I mean by alchemizes is that it raises a vibration, it changes the chemistry, it transforms it. Now, the alchemists that you knew about in the past were these guys that were working at base metal and they're wanting to change it into gold. Some people have heard of Saint Germain. Some people have heard of these wizards throughout millennium that were doing that. Well, urine, Shivambhu, will take whatever you touch it to and transform it. For the people who have oral issues and they want to work on gum disease and teeth issues and mouth, etc., when you're gargling it, when you're holding in your mouth, it's going to neutralize that bacteria. It's going to raise its vibrations, and then at some point, it is the Shivambhu. Swallow it. Because people have asked, and they still ask, well, if I gargle in my mouth and I'm cleaning out the impurity, should I spit it out? I said, why? Do you see what I mean by that? Yeah. It transforms whatever it touches. It's going to raise the vibration and change the chemistry. It's the same with the people who say, well, I don't want to take a bath in city water. I said, why don't you just pee in your bath water like I do? Who pees in the bath? Come on, be honest. All right.
I do now.
You do now, right? So yeah, Curtis, it'll alchemize your city water, so you don't have to worry about, oh, there's chlorine and fluoride and there's chemicals and blah blah blah. As a matter of fact, when some people are doing enemas, they add some hot water into the urine so it's not cold when you first insert it up your bum. They don't want to shock themselves. So there are times when you can dilute it with distilled water, city water, whatever, and it won't be as concentrated, but it still be effective. Tell me that's not backwards. We do that a lot in these classes. Okay, any questions about alchemizing whatever it touches?
So I have mine wrapped, my jars wrapped in images of cheeses and fruits and flowers and all kinds of nice images, you know. And I think it changed it changed the flavor of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the aged stuff is very mild and pleasant, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a great idea. What some people are doing is they're doing something similar that Emoto did when he did his images of water, and he put positive statements and negative statements and saw how the crystal formations would change. Well, some people are doing with their Shivambhu jars, they're putting love, peace, joy, tranquility, whatever. Some people are living in the sun. Some people hanging a crystal pendulum over it. Some people are putting it under a copper pyramid. I've got mine sometimes on a Nikola Tesla plate. I love energy devices. And so you can do whatever you want with it, and it's still going to evolve and be powerful no matter what. People tried all kinds of stuff. They put in a far infrared sauna. I mean, whatever you're into.
And you know, something I would like to share is when I first started, I had two single socks, you know, they were clean. So I put them over top. And one sock was black and had some colorful dots on it. And the other sock was light colored, like a very light purple color. And it absorbs the vibration of the color, because the jar with the black sock on it, it was so harsh and so spicy, and it was hard to get down. And then I put a lighter colored thing on it too. And it, you know, over a few days, it was mild and pleasant again.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And these are the things you can't necessarily explain to people, but it sure makes sense in this crowd.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 of the Shivambhu wisdoms. You guys probably got the chart. Number 4. I don't know if I got the numbers correctly. It's a universal panacea, and it works regardless of your considerations. Bless you, Sheena. It works whether it's your water, a man's water, a woman's water. It works whether it's an adult or a child's water. It works whether it's a black person, a white person, a Chinese person. It doesn't matter if the person's healthy or sick. It doesn't matter if it's an animal's urine or a human urine. It works because it's a universal panacea. Now, Doc Mike, what he's doing, he's starting this new exchange program. He's an old-timer urine therapy teacher and healer from Chicago. He happens to be in town right now helping us heal Dr. Gupta. And so what he's been doing was he's been trading his urine, drinking his clients, and them drinking his. And after doing this about 25 times, he says he's got the immune system of 25 people. He's got like 25 immune systems. So he wants to create this exchange. And I've drank some of my clients. I drank some of his. He sent the 12-year-old. I drank his 12-year-old urine. And what he wants to do is take cotton, or thin cotton pads, soak them with Orin, have them dry, ship it to people, and have them rehydrate it. See, originally we were going to send, I was going to send my 3-year-old, some of my 3-year-old to my assistant out in California. She was going to send mine, but he's thinking, well, you know, they have this thing about sending liquids through the mail. So he wants to send dry. So if that program takes off, you'll hear about it.
So honestly, I would have a hard time drinking somebody else's.
Right. And that's
that would be another level of faith.
Yes. Well, let's hope you work that out, because if God help us, if you ever get into a life and death situation and you cannot urinate, but your friend can, I drink Curtis's, I would drink Elizabeth's, I would drink yours. It wouldn't matter at that point. When you're out we had a friend who got stung by jellyfish. He was out at the beach. He didn't care whose urine it was. He was hurting like hell. So there are exceptions.
Yeah, but I'm drinking urine, so I shouldn't get sick. So there.
There you go. Just so you know, this is
Yeah.
something the community is playing with.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter all those considerations people have. It's still going to work. There's Dr. Bunmi Samola, who's from Nigeria. He's a friend of mine. When he was 10 years old, he was really sick, and his mom had enough intuition and wisdom to serve him her urine. He not only healed everything as that young 10-year-old, but 20 years later, he became a urine therapist.
Mhm.
And I hear more and more cases about father, son, mother, daughter, and these miracles keep pouring in. And last but not least, oh, right, saturation dosing. And then I'm going to talk about the incurables. Saturation dosing is basically um, including protocols with your oral use. Because a lot of people, they're just focusing on the drinking aspect or the snorting and the drinking up the nose aspect, and we're going to talk about that in one of these classes. But saturation dosing also includes topical use, eye rinses, ear rinses, nasal drinking, foot soaks, enemas, full body massage, navel soaks, on and on and on, so that you can get massive amounts of nutrients into your bloodstream, and the cleaning process or the purification process will be shortened. For people who are really sick and in crisis situation, I'd have them change their diet, do some fasting, do some foot soak, do enemas, get massages, and give your body a much stronger chance to get through it quicker. And then some people, they built saturation dosing like I do into your lifestyle. If you want to knock out 6 or 7 protocols real fast while the bathtub is filling up, just bring some into the bath, stand in the bathtub, pour it in your eyes, bring it up your nose, put it in your ears, rub it on your body, front and back everywhere, and then sit down in the bathtub for 30 minutes to an hour and just take a urine bath. So you've knocked out 6 or 7 protocols all at once, and you just did saturation dosing.
Does not burn your eyes.
It doesn't burn your eyes. The evolving stuff might sting for a few seconds, but the fresh doesn't. If it does, then you can either dilute it or wait till you get used to it and just keep at it. But that eventually corrects itself. I mean, it's the same with the people who are taking the aged urine up the nose and they go, wait, it stings. Oh, it stings right about there. Well, you know why it stings is because once it comes up into the sinuses, trying to get into the blood-brain barrier up to here, if you've got dried sinuses, most people have dehydrated sinuses, excess mucus in the brain. So that's what it's bumping up against until you start hydrating those cavities and those portals up there.
Mhm.
Did that answer your question? Okay. That's saturation dosing. Any questions on saturation dosing? When we get further into the protocols, I'll explain all of this even more in depth.
Like how many cups would you use for a full saturation?
Are you talking about one serving or all day?
Like one serving, let's say.
One serving for the day, 8 ounces.
Okay. And that's drinking or rubbing in or putting in
Well,
everywhere.
it is an intuitive medicine.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is going to just be a suggestion because there's going to be times through the day. Now, what I like about carrying the evolving Orin with me, and this is my 3-year-old, if I didn't already say that, if you can keep this in your backpack, your purse, your glove box, wherever you are, when your brain starts to get sluggish, you can't track, you're not present, your energy starts to dip, 1 to 2 dropperfuls held under the tongue for a minute or 5 will brings everything back online. This is a godsend. All right, so keep this in your first aid kit. You can also carry one of these around with you. I call it the Pissimister. And you just get, this I like glass, and then you get a spray top. This is also a 3-year-old. And so when you're out and about, you can spray it on your face, wake up, put it over your eyes, exfoliate, rub it in. And this is another good thing to carry with you is a little spray bottle. Now, there's some people in the community They're a lot more serious, and this is their version of a spray bottle. But unless you live alone, you may not be spraying it around the house. You see, I don't live alone. I share a house. I'm at a retreat center in Boulder, Colorado called Sanctuary Garden. And even though one of my students owns the house and, he's working on healing his knees and doing some other stuff, his wife, pardon the pun, got whiff of my collection in my bedroom. And as I was doing foot soaks and baths and enemas, the lovely fragrance to me was not so lovely to her. And as I got into the house, she was burning candles, opened up the window. She said, "You got to do something about that hobby of yours." And so I've been keeping my water closet in a closed Coleman ice chest, so the smell doesn't come out.
Oh, isn't it supposed to have air circulating? And
Well,
you
yes
have
and
it?
no. Yes and no. I'm so glad you asked that question. There are people who cover their jar with cloth. They cover it with cheesecloth. They cover it with a cotton sprouting bag, a nut milk bag. Some people use stocking, nylon stocking. They'll put on a rubber band. I put on a top that's either loose fitting or when I store it, I screw it on. And why I do that is because this will alchemize everything. It is perfect, it is sterile, and nothing can contaminate it or grow in it. Even though you might see that mushroom that looks like a kombucha mushroom and some white particles in there, that's stem cells and white blood cells collecting and concentrating. So however you want to cover it, Monica, is up to you.
Okay.
Because I'm carrying this around all the time, and that's sealed up.
Mm. And a question for that mister thing. Can you put essential oils of some sort in there? Yeah, that might diffuse the smell a bit.
Well, you can do that, and make sure it's not the volatile oils, the ones that have the heat and the burn, like cinnamon and oregano, that kind of stuff. You want to keep it really neutral, maybe some lemon, orange, a light pine type of essential oils. But also know that after a period of time, the ammonia smell evaporates. It's kind of like a carpet. You lay out a fresh carpet, it's known as outgassing. I mean, when I looked at and smelled and tasted Doc Mike's 12-year-old, it did not have any sense of aroma that was offensive. However, Indira, she brought out her 3-year-old. It looked and tasted like soy sauce. Is this Mom? Hi, Mom.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Question for pregnancy. How does that work?
Yeah, she should get on it right away. Yeah, I'd have her drinking it as well as massaging it on her belly, among other things. Yeah, if you ever want me to have a talk with Mom, I'd love that.
For sure.
So, Monica, did I answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
However you want to cover it is up to you. And some people don't cover it because they want that to purify the air, kind of like a nebulizer or a humidifier. I know sometimes I'll just leave an open jar by my bedstand, right? And the only reason you cover it is so you don't have anything flying around and dropping in there. Does that help answer that question?
Yep.
All right.
Thank
The last part of this is the idea that there is an incurable disease on the planet. The word incurable actually means to cure within, incurable. The word disease, if you hyphenate the word DIS hyphen EASE, it actually means a lack of ease. All right, most of the labels and identities and diseases that were made up by the medical profession had nothing to do with the cause. They're all trying to get you to focus on the symptoms so they can sell you the drugs or get you into their office. You're the doctor now. Why do you think Hippocrates said thousands of years ago, physician heal thyself? I'm so glad we've gotten to the point where, see, a lot of people, because of the fake demic and the so-called COVID, it's waking up enough people to realize that big pharma and the medical industry was not their friend. So a lot of people who are desperate for healing and in their suffering are looking for alternatives. And guess what? We're on the scene now.
Mhm.
So more people are open to the possibility of you suggesting urine therapy than any time in history. So I hope that'll keep you from being timid and hold back the good news. Like Curtis just told Mom. Is that your sister or girlfriend that was also in the room? Was there someone else?
She's my girlfriend. Her name's Lindsay.
Okay.
With my baby, and then that's her
Oh,
daughter. Her daughter was the one that walked in.
that's who that was. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad she showed up on the scene because that's just a reminder that everybody on the planet has a memory, whether they tap it or not, of living in amniotic fluid and drinking their urine for 9 months. So here comes a walking example of a water bubble. She walks right into the room. I'm going, how does the universe orchestrate that? So what's neat is all of a sudden you tell someone you should try urine therapy. And their light goes on and goes, I don't know why, but I got to do it. And these are the people like yourselves who were called. You felt like there was a calling. Did you guys feel that way?
Yeah, maybe.
Because it doesn't feel like this is a hard sell. I mean, the people going, I really got to convince somebody to do urine therapy. It's the best thing for me. It doesn't work that way. It has to be a soft, loving approach, or people will run away. We don't want people to run away. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I mean, how do you convince people that are totally grossed out by it?
Well, first thing you want to do is get really good. I mean, read the book. Read the book. Get really good at being able to make a statement or a comment that causes them to use critical thinking, which is dormant in a lot of people. When someone says urine is a waste product, don't you know it's a disgusting waste product? First question out of your mouth should be, where did you get that idea from? If you start challenging their belief systems, you'll find out they got no strong leg to argue. They got no argument. Right? What would you say if someone says, where'd you get that idea from? I heard it on television. My doctor told me that's all I ever knew. So what you're doing is opening a way into their belief systems in their mind so they can hear a new idea and be open to a shift, a different way of looking at things. And these are the people that are more likely to start and never stop. Like, do you guys think you'll ever quit?
No.
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 I mean, what you got is the best medicine no money can buy.
I'm sorry, I quit 20 years ago, you know, when I first heard about it and did it for a while.
Yeah, and what rekindled your love for it?
Well, I rather, at this point, I rather be in the morgue than in a hospital. I want to be healthy, period. Yeah.
So you're motivated.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot of people. They say, I don't want to be under a knife of a doctor or be
No.
doped up the rest of my life.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I don't want to be a toxic waste dump by the time they put me under, you know.
Well, the other neat thing is that right now, because everybody's focusing on the world narrative and the world story and the world news, what's going on from country to country and who's going through what, talking about drinking pee is way off their radar. I mean, I know a lot of holistic wellness practitioners 10, 20 years ago, they were either reputation was ruined or they were taken out because the medical doctors felt intimidated by people teaching self-healing. But they're not paying attention to us. They either think we're weirdos or we're in a cult. Let them have that idea. That's totally fine. Because we know what we're doing. We know the power of our water. Plus, see all these people on the screen? Everybody who comes to this journey falls in love with each other. There's nobody in the water family you can't communicate with, whether they're in Switzerland or British Columbia. I went to the
I
water.
love you guys.
Oh, I love you. I had a chance in 2018 to go to the Water of Life Symposium in Las Vegas. And this hotel in the conference room had 80 pee drinkers from across the United States, Canada, and some other countries. Every single one, you felt like you knew them and you wanted to hug them. And everybody was instantly connected because, we're on the same journey. And this is what I love about social media. And there's a social media that our organization put together called the Shivambhu Hut. If you ever want to join in, there's currently 575 members. And to get there, let me type into the link. You go to shivambhu.org. Now, Shivambhu is spelled the old traditional way, which is the H at the end, because Ambu means water. So Shivambhu literally means either the water of Shiva or the blood of the Lord, and in this case, it's blood plasma. Remember, we're not those kind of vampires. We're the guys who drink the plasma water. All right, any questions so far?
No.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's go into a little history about Shivambhu, how it kind of got here. This is from both of my books, so looking it up really isn't that important. If we go back to the 1400s, well, let's just say a couple of names of Shivambhu you might have heard of. Is that your husband?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. There he goes. Your wife drinks pee.
Yeah. I'm working on him he has tinnitus.
Yeah, the ringing.
And I'm working on him. Just try it. Just put some in your ears, but yeah, he's a tough nut to crack there.
Yeah, give him some time.
Yeah.
All right, so this is either called Orin, Shivambhu, U juice. In Botswana, they know as U juice, spelled Y-O-U juice, and what they mean is that's U juice. In India, it's known as Lota Cola because it was named after a urine therapist teacher who's been at it for 50 years, Dr. Rajshak Mal Lota. So everybody honors him. They call it Lota Cola. In Nigeria, they call it Ito. They call it Arena in Spain, Portugal, and Spanish-speaking countries. In America, I call it my Orin juice, or OJ. Now, the word Orin came to us from Andrew Norton Webber. And what he is teaching us is that urine is a medical term, and even the word sounds disgusting. There's something about the vibrations of the word. So he started teaching about Orin. It sounds softer. It sounds more inviting. So I use that in conversation. You guys know who Aquaman is?
Yeah.
If you go to Wikipedia and you type in Aquaman, you discover his real name is Orin.
Oh.
Aquaman was the god of the water of the sea. Orin is our divine nectar of Shiva. So it's interesting that even Wikipedia honors Orin, but it's not obvious unless you know what you're looking for. So in the 1400s, the Aztecs were using it to heal wounds. In 1500s, Magellan, who was doing a world cruise, had his crew member all drinking their urine. In 1536, the Egyptian medical texts were talking about in their remedies, including Orin. In 1611, if you picked up a copy of King James Version of the Bible, there's all kinds of proverbs that talk about drink of thyself and you will heal, drink of thy own cistern. A lot of people felt that the baptism and the water of Christ or the blood of Christ was urine. Mm-hmm. And if that is true holy water, maybe we should trade out the water at the entrance to the Catholic Church where people dip in their hands, and we should put our water in there. Oh yeah, yes, okay, okay. So there's a lot of Bible references if people are talking to Christians and you want to pull that out. I'm sure you can find those. If not, contact me or someone in the community. In 1695, there was a reference in a Solomon's English physician book about urine therapy. In 1806, Lewis and Clark described seeing Native Americans bathing in urine. In 1890, there was a book called A Thousand Notable Things. They called urine a universal and excellent remedy for the multitude of health challenges. In the 1930s, Professor Jean Rostet of France wrote about adrenal and sex gland hormones present in urine. 1944 was the original release of John W. Armstrong's book, The Water of Life, and then it got republished in 1971. The Manav Mutra came out in 1963 by Mr. Patel. I've got a lot of these books I have here at the house, so if you ever want to see the front of them, I can show you. 1971, NASA released a document that talks about all the nutrients in urine. Any questions about the history?
It's amazing that NASA would talk about it. That's quite remarkable.
Yes, and on some of the government science and medicine pages, we found listings of urine. But they're listing it solely for the compounds. They're not making the connection between human urine and human health. We have already made the connection. But it's nice to have that information if people are asking you for research and evidence and all that kind of stuff. You could say, well, NASA tells you what's in it. Oh, by the way, in the Army survival manual from the Army, from the military, it says the only time it's okay to drink urine is when you're in a survival situation. You're stuck out in the sea. You're in the middle of a desert. You're lost in a forest. Your parachute snapped. You're in the forest. It says that's the only time it recommends it and not any other time. Anybody notice that we're in survival mode right now?
Yeah.
Right? And so for you to get ahead of pollution, viruses, EMF, chemtrails, negative thoughts of other people, emotional overload, it's a good idea to do the prevention as well as the cure by getting into this as soon as possible and adding more of the protocols.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath. Okay, let's go to page. Let's see. What page are we going to go to here? Who's got a book? Anybody have a book on them? Anybody have a PDF in front of them? All right, Curtis, you feel like reading?
Sure.
I want you to jump to page 229 and read until that ends right before the 231. It's basically 2.5 pages. It's called What is Urine? It's called What is Urine? Page 231. 229, excuse me.
There are approximately 170 liters of blood are filtered in the kidneys per day, but only approximately 1.4 liters are excreted. More than 90% of the water is reabsorbed. Each kidney weighs approximately 141 grams and is made up of more than 1,200,000 nephrons or filters. That is more or less 2,400,000 or 2,400,000?
2.4 million.
2.4 million filters or nephrons. If we spread the nephrons one after the other, it would measure about 80 kilometers. The first part of the nephron separates part of the plasma from the blood that is forced through delicate capillaries. When these expand with the heartbeat, red cells, white cells, protein units, and vitamin units, and other relatively small particles. In the second process or stage of filtration of the nephron, it again absorbs more than 90% of plasma, leaving behind what we know as urine. It was found in 1992 at the Yashibara
Close enough.
Institute of Biochemistry in Japan that urine is a blood product, not a waste of useless substance. In reality, urine is the most miraculous and mysterious juice in the world. That your body made for your body.
Your body
To
made it
be-
for your body.
To be used as medicine and at the same time as natural nutrition. Urine is a sterile fluid while it is in the urethra. Urine has more than 2,000 organic compounds, and many of them are specific for each body. Its main ingredient is water. 60 to 98% urine contains hormones that go from the pineal gland to the sex glands. It also contains steroids, proteins, minerals, vitamins, enzymes, antioxidants, antibodies, antioxidants, muscle cells, muscle tissues, cellular tissues, endotoxins, and endotoxins that are produced by the viruses, bacteria, and microbes that live in our body. For all this, it is much better to drink any or all of our urine and not consume it with anything artificially or chemically made by man. It is made by the most sophisticated laboratory made by God herself, and not by man, like the laboratory called the human body. To all brave women and men who practice urine therapy, I bow to you.
Thank you. So we're going to get into, we're going to take a break in about 4 minutes here. We're going to get into the actual list. I'm not going to go. It's actually now what you read. There was a typo. It should be 3,000 compounds, 3,000 substrate substances, and so forth. When you get at least a brief understanding of what those nutrients are and what are the nutrients that everybody talks about all the time, the vitamins, the minerals, essential fatty acids, the aminos, growth hormone, et cetera, it'll help you to understand how to, hold on, I'm too warm in here. Hold on. You can tell I'm getting serious here. Getting to know those nutrients give you a better opportunity and an insight to come up with general treatment suggestions for people. For example, people say, I'm stressed out, I have a hard time sleeping, my energy is on, I'm overwhelmed, stressed out to the max. You know that the water has magnesium, the water has B vitamins, serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin, DHEA. All these are known to help relax the nervous system, to help the adrenal glands, to help cut out stress. When people are you know what Epsom salt is, right?
Yeah.
It's magnesium. So instead of people having to run down the store to get all these different nutrients, it's in there. And this is one of the reasons it works, because it provides all those nutrients that you would normally need for any kind of health challenge, any condition. Any questions?
It's going to save a whole bunch of money.
It's going to save a whole bunch of money, and you're not only not going to have to buy supplements, vitamins, you're not going to have to get shampoo, conditioner, underarm deodorant, foot fungus. You're not going to have to buy a lot of that crap that you thought was necessary, and you can spend that money on whatever you want. So,
just how much of plastic that would save, all
Yeah.
these containers and shit like that.
yeah, plastic and
Yeah.
boxes, and some people said it's going to cut down on consumerism.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
And if you guys are trying to downsize on all your possessions that you have in your house, well, that stuff that you keep in your medicine cabinet is going to clear out a lot of space right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's take a 4 or 5 minute break.
Yeah, I got to.
The first health protocol that's usually suggested by a naturopath, a wellness practitioner, a nutritionist, a chiropractor is enemas and colonics. Because most people trashed out their body most of their life and didn't really eat the healthiest foods. And so you want to clean out your pipes. Now, one of the things that's misdiagnosed a lot with people is when they say they have pain in their back or they got pressure on their uterus or their prostate or their liver or whatever. It's 9 times out of 10, it's inflammation or constipation that's causing the pressure to extend outward front and back. And after people have an enema or colonic, they don't feel that. So now Sheena mentioned colonics. And what I wrote in these books about the future of Shivambhu movement, of urine therapy, is that there'll be enlightened colon therapists that actually provide urine that'll go through the tube inside the body. Now, it has to be a urine therapy practitioner, or they would never think of it. But he or she, in this vision I had, would give the client an option of whether it was male urine, female urine, or they bring their own. And so they wouldn't use city water, and that's what they would use. I mean, this is just a future vision until the person starts being self-responsible and they can just do an enema. Welcome back, Curtis. We're talking about urine enemas and urine colonics. So you're in good company with us. Welcome back. So this takes some practice. Anybody doing these right now?
No, I'm working my way into it, and I'm intrigued with your setup here.
Okay, you can get these sometimes you can find them at pharmacy stores like Walgreens, CVS, Target. You might find them at a health food store. If you can't,
It's just a hot water bottle, is it not?
well, some say it's a combination of douche and water bottle, but it's got to come with the screw-on part. It's got to come with the entire tube, the clamp, and the point that you insert. All right. If it's got all that together, it's called an enema kit. So what you're going to do is create a system that works for you. And for example, my system is I'm either going to use all fresh, all evolving, a combination of the two, or if you feel like it's too much of a shock to have cold urine go right upside your backside, some people are adding hot distilled water or hot city water so that it comes to a more comfortable temperature. So then you're going to hang this over either the towel rack, the doorknob, the shower rack, wherever you can hang it. And then this is going to reach all the way to the ground and underneath your tushy to get inside you. Underneath you, you're going to put a towel on the floor. You get the bathroom rugs out of there. You put a huge beach towel on the floor. You get your container. Now I make this in a gallon because I do 4 rounds of this.
Oh, wow.
All right, so you have this on the countertop. All right, you get your sesame oil or whatever oil you're using as the lubricant. You set this hanging up over your towel rack or whatever. Right? You're naked from the hip down. You're laying on your back with your knees up. All right? So you fill up as much as you can possibly stand and then hold it as long as you can, then get to that toilet because you're going to be eliminating all that. And then some people will just do 1 round, but most people need to do a lot more. And if you do it right, it takes about 45 minutes. And that includes not only setup, not only doing the enema, but also you got to include cleaning the toilet and the floor because shit happens. So you got to be prepared for that. Any questions?
So yeah, so how much would you use per round? How many cups of orange?
Well, this holds about 1 3/4 of a quart, maybe 2 quarts.
So you put all of this in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And if some people who are really constipated or their rectum is either got little herniated areas where there's compaction, or if it's clogged in any way, you might only be able to get in a half or a third of it until you've freed up enough in that lower bowel and the sigmoid in order to get things moving.
And then you try to keep it in?
You try to hold it in as long as you can, but oftentimes you're lucky just to get on the seat, get on the toilet.
And I heard people say to lie on the right side to clean the liver, or the left side to clean the
Spleen?
I forget. Spleen, yes.
Yeah, well, that also means the right side, which is the ascending colon. The left side is the descending colon.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that. The youngsters who are in their 30s and 20s, they oftentimes will do headstands for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that guy, but I've seen some of the videos where they've filled up a whole bag inside their rectum and they're doing a headstand. So it goes and goes into the intestines a lot deeper, and then they find their way to the toilet.
Mm.
If you're that kind of person, more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just show you a couple of these items, and I hope you'll know what to do with them, but I'll go in deeper when we get into the protocols. This is a Tupperware type of a tub. It's soft plastic. It holds about 2 gallons. You can see how many times I've used it. And you're going to fill it up with 2 quarts minimum, 2 quarts to a gallon. You want to be able to fill it up to your ankles, so you're not only getting all the reflexology points at the soles of the feet. This is the importance of a foot soak, is that according to reflexology, you've got all these major points that end up at the bottom of the feet, and by working on them or getting the nutrients into them, this is the same reason people put essential oil on the feet, you get the widest skin surface and pores on the body and the soles of the feet. So when you're soaking up the urine and you put your feet into it, you have a much better chance to get more delivered into your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to cover it all the way up to the ankle, because the ankles reflect the pelvis, reproductive organs, and the hip area. And then you'll stay in there for 30 minutes or longer. I talked to one person who does it for 2 hours. He's a meditator. He can pull it off. And then when you're done, do not throw away the used urine, but either use a screen and a funnel and clean it out that way. I mean, you don't have to, but things fall off the feet. You could have walked on dirt, mud, poop, lint from your socks. Who knows? And then you can reuse it for topical or oral application. You can also put your hands in there if you want to also do the additional hand soak. Sheena.
What do you think about a foot ionizer to sort of help with the process, like prior to doing that?
Are you talking about detoxing devices?
Yeah, there's like this thing where they put salt in it and it ionizes the negative and positive and draws out all this stuff from your body through your feet.
You could, but that's what the urine does. I mean, the Shivambhu itself is a cure-all, panacea remedy for reason, which means it has as many uses as you can imagine.
Okay.
Thank you. Some people put essential oil in their bath water. Some people put in Epsom salt. People put in mud and clay and French clay and German, California clay. They put in diatomaceous earth. They try all kinds of stuff. And I get great results just with the Shivambhu.
Thanks.
So you get to play around with that one. Okay. This is a fun one. Swimming goggles filled with Orin. Hold it in over your eyes for 5-10 minutes, as long as you can, blinking when you can, and then remove them. This came to me from Tim Joseph, also known as George Johnston, who's out there in Montana. He's the brother who just lost his legs. And Chit Senna, who's from New York, moved over there to help him with his daily routine until he gets strong enough, and eventually he'll get prosthesis and have some legs again. So this is the goggles technique, which just came about. I just learned it from him about 2 years ago.
Is it picture vision?
We're talking about, yes, vision, floaters, cataracts, night vision, glaucoma, all kinds of eye issues. If you don't have that, the eye cup works just as well.
Macular degeneration.
Mhm.
Could it be used for that?
Yes.
Mm.
You see what this is? This is a glass eye cup. They have them in hard plastic. You can get these at most stores or Amazon. And with these guys, they hold about a half an ounce, maybe a third of an ounce. You're just going to suction it over your eyeball and then blink 4 or 5 times until you feel like you're saturated enough. Switch it over to the other eye, blinkety blink, do it a couple of times. And then when you're done, tilt your head and pour it over your iris and cornea and just let it drip over your face and massage it in your face. That's the eye cup. Question.
Can you do that every day, or how often can? Yeah, you can.
Well, did it work for you when you're in your mama's belly for 9 months?
Yeah. I guess it did.
Yeah, it's intuitive medicine. I would do it every day. When I'm in the morning, when I'm at the sink, right after I've done my thing on the toilet and I'm sitting at the sink, I've got some kept in the medicine cabinet. And I'm going to snort it, see if there's any mucus that's going to come out. I'll pour it on my eyes. The neti pot. This is really a lovely thing to have. You guys seen this?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a little Aladdin's lamp. And these are used by the Ayurvedic community and holistic health community to pour through one nostril and it drains out the other nostril. And then you can pour it on the other nostril and drains the other nostril, which is fine for that. It just doesn't get up into the higher sinuses and up into the brain. This is where snorting and nose drinking comes in beautifully.
Nose drinking,
Mm-hmm.
same as snorting, or?
Curtis, you have a question? I'll get to you in a minute, Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious if you'll show us or teach us how to do that.
Which part?
The drinking or snorting.
Yeah, the drinking requires a getting used to, because what's happening is the urine is going to the throat through the back of the brain. It goes in through here and it goes behind the nose and down the passageway that way. But how that's different, taking up the nose versus drinking, is that it goes directly into the brain. You're going directly into the 5 portals, cavities known as sinuses. It's crossing the blood-brain barrier, which allows you to hydrate and uncalcify the pineal gland. So the guys are wondering if their third eye can be opened and brought back to life. This is how people are doing it. So that helps you with visions, that helps you with intuition, that helps you with insight, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Okay, Monica, did you ask?
No, that answered my question. Yep.
So to get it in the nose, you can either use the palm of your hand and sniff it, right? Some people have come up with little devices like this. When I was pulling together all the equipment, I just kept going to the store, and every time I would look at things, I go, no, that's not what I use it for. So this was an Enema fleet bag with their saline solution, and I simply emptied it out and cleaned it out. And this is a great way, in order to get a little more pressure, to get it up into your nose. This cost $2.
Mhm.
And I've got to mute my phone. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, that's a mute. Okay, the other thing you can get is called an earwax removal kit. And this is basically, some people call it a syringe. Now, all these things I'm going to go over again after going to the protocols. Some people call this a syringe that holds 20 milliliters of fluid. Now, according to them, it's used for an earwax removal kit. right? So you can either put it in your ear, one way or the other, to either drain it or just to remove some of the wax in there, or you can use this up the nose.
Mm.
All right, and some people use this as an implant in the rectum. Now these are about $5 or $6. Target, oh no, Target didn't have it. I found it at Walgreens, and you could find it all kinds of places. Or this is really cool, guys. You can go to places like Target and say, I want one of those earwax removal syringes. Do you guys give out any samples? They'll give you a 10 milliliter for free. Doesn't hold as much, but if you don't have $5 or $6, you can pick up one of these. Any question on that guy? All right, let's show some more. Silicone bulbs. It holds 1 or 2 ounces. This is great for an erectile implant. You can find this in the kids section at a grocery store. This is a silicone rubber bulb. You can even use it for nose drinking because it gives you more pressure. They come in different colors. I think they're all the same size. All right, I already showed you that. I showed you that. This is one of your tools that you'll want to have all the time. Organic cotton balls. All right, you got a skin blemish, you got a sun tan burn, you got a liver spot, you got something going on from the sun, just get used to dabbing it on. If you got one of these capillary bursts when you're over 40 and your blood vessels and capillaries start to burst, dab some on. You got a bee sting, dab some on. If you're in a situation, sometimes I'm in my car and I've got my pee jar in the car, but I need to get back awake, I'll just dip this in and snort it right off the cotton ball. So these are like, what, $3 for a bag of 100 of them. So keep these handy. Keep these all over the place. Nebulizers. But before we get to the nebulizer, let's go old school. You guys work with essential oils?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so people who do essential oils have what's called a diffuser. Some will call it a nebulizer. Most people know it as a diffuser. And so what I like to do is take the chamber, the well, and fill it up to the safety line with fresh or aged. Turn that baby on and let it diffuse all those tiny little vapor particles into the air to purify the air in your room. Now, 3 weeks ago,
It won't smell.
Will
it smell?
It's tiny little particles. It doesn't have enough volume in order to pull out the ammonia. You won't smell it. Now, 3 weeks ago, I ended up going to, I needed a retreat, so I broke free from being here, and I went to a hot springs for 4 days. And I took my entire collection. With the 3-year-old urine, I had about 5 gallons, and I turned my hotel room into a Shivambhu spa and salon. I was doing baths, foot soaks, massages. You know, it was great. I'd go to hot springs, I would come back, and this was burning for 4 to 6 hours. Of course, you got to know that if somebody else comes into your room, they might have a different response. But if you've been involved with this and you walk into your room, you go, "That's me. That's my essence in the room. It smells great." Of course, I have no idea what the cleanup crew was going to go through their mind, but this is a diffusion. Okay. And then what came out, what I learned from somebody last year, or the year before, is a handheld nebulizer. And I don't know the brand, but I can help you find it. This is a mesh nebulizer, which means it's got a screen in it that breaks it into vapor gas-like nanoparticles, and it can go right into the sinuses a lot better than even the diffuser. If you're using aged, evolving urine and you put it up to sinuses, it might sting at first till you get used to it. But this is great not only for your nose, but you can have it over your eyes. You can exfoliate your skin. And these guys also come with a face mask, so you can swap out the mouth part. I mean, some people are using for the mouth to a facial mask, and boom. Imagine nebulizing that over your nose and mouth. So you can find these on Amazon. They're anywhere from $30 to $80, depending on who you get it from.
It would be great to have if you have lung issues, I would think.
Lung issues, asthma, respiratory. Here's the box it came with, but it doesn't have a brand. If you want to do a screenshot, it doesn't have a brand, but I'm sure you can find something like that on Amazon or eBay.
It must have a brand.
It says CE. I'm guessing it's from China or someplace where they don't want to put that on there. There's a model number, MN-01A. And see if you can find it. It's very nice because you can take it wherever you go.
What is the number? 018?
Let's pull it back out for you, Monica. MN, Mother Nancy, 01A as an apple.
Is it battery operated?
Yeah, it's either battery or USB port.
Okay.
But what I like it is that you can take it when you're traveling. You can use it in your car, wherever you want to. Now, I once told people, this is the Pissimister right here. I showed you this before. This is just a spray bottle. You can either use cobalt blue or you can use the copper versions, whatever you got. But in my first book, Healing Water from Within, I was telling people, next time you go on public transportation, spray it on the headrest in front of you because of people left on from their hair and from their hairspray. You know, spray it in the air of the cabin in the airplane, over on the bus, on the train, when you go to the bathroom. And the people didn't know if I was serious or not.
You make friends.
Boy, do you. And you find out who's going to stick around. So this is nice, like you're out in the open, you're going for a hike and you just need to freshen up. And these guys don't take up that much room. This weighs 2 ounces. I mean, this is 2 ounces of liquid. I don't know what it actually weighs. You know what that is?
The mouth, tongue.
That's a tongue scraper or a tongue cleaner. So the people who are practicing Chinese medicine where they tell you got to get that white foam and that stuff that's caked on your tongue, yeah, dip that in the Shivambhu and then use that when you're scraping your tongue.
Swishing does it too.
Swishing does it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this gives it an extra little edge to scrape it off. Okay, so you don't have that coat on your tongue. All right, I showed this, but I like to show it again. This was so much fun. So this little guy is all cotton. A lot of the stuff you can buy, you can find at thrift shops, garage sales. You can find them at your house. You just use a little bit of imagination. So you just simply soak this, put it over your eyes, and if you have something to weigh it down, like a bean bag or something, and then just lay down for an hour or so and just let that soak into your eyes. Okay?
Good one.
You're going to love this next one. Shower caps. Who doesn't love shower caps? So can you imagine filling this up and having it on your head when you're walking around the house? So if you got hair things going on, balding, you've got things in your hair, you have dreadlocks, whatever you want, you can put that either on your head. You can also put it on your feet, like surgeons have those little booties when they go into surgery, and it'll be like a mobile foot soak. You can also get silicone gloves. You know those silicone gloves? Right? Fill it up with the urine, and put some kind of band around your wrist, and you have a mobile hand soak. Or if you have eczema somewhere, or if you've got finger issues, arthritis. Now, the neat thing is I've been doing body work for 42 years. In the last 28 years, I've been doing nonstop urine therapy. And after doing 39,000 clients, I've never had carpal tunnel, blown wrists, or arthritis. And a lot of massage people, I don't know if you guys do that, a lot of people, their wrists blow out and they get out of the business. The same with people at keyboards a lot.
Question with the head, would it help for lice and fleas and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anything that's going on in your hair, or if you just need nutrients in there, or if you're trying to grow your hair thicker. And have I shown you everything else? That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Any questions so far? We've got about 45 minutes of our class. What I like to do the last 15 minutes is just leave it open to open discussion. So if you have anything that hasn't been addressed or answered, that would be the time to bring it up. We're going to go to page 25. Page 25 to page 31. Did all you other guys get the PDF?
No, I haven't gotten anything.
All right, I'll send it out to you. Anybody else not get the PDF of the manual?
Oh, no, I didn't either. But my books are on the way, so they're in Vancouver, closer.
Yes, you're the one who got all the books. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh, so are you, Sheena, gonna send it on to me then, or is that how it works? Or because I ordered a book too.
Oh, did you order it from Amazon?
No, from you.
Oh, then I would have shipped it by now.
Yeah, so it might be at the mailbox today, hopefully.
Okay, did I also send you a screenshot of the tracking information? Because I usually do that once I go to the post office.
I have to check, I don't know.
Okay, no problem. Let's go to page 25. Does anybody else need a PDF?
I'll take one.
A
Okay.
PDF of this book?
Yeah.
I don't have one, but I guess I don't need one.
You don't need one if you got the book. I love giving out the PDF to people, but I only ask you that you don't post it on the internet. Because I know people have done that to John Armstrong's book and Martha Christie's book, and if these people are still alive, it's like you're taking the books and you're giving them away, and these people are relying on that of their income. So I would want to respect the author. Okay, so let me know, Sheena, Monica, if you don't get your books.
Okay.
I'll take care of you. Okay, Orin, here we go, page 25. Orin is the best and last supplement that I will never buy. Many water brothers and sisters are being called by Shivambhu and simply know and trust it works. The way to know for sure that Shivambhu can be an answer to your health and wellness takes discipline and commitment. Not only will you see results soon, you will be able to live a long and healthy quality of life by maintaining a continual daily practice. How does Orin affect attitude, emotions, behavior? Thanks to the presence of various hormones, nutrients, drinking or topically applying Orin balances and improves one's attitude while restoring better brain health. Orin delivers vital nutrients to the brain as it repairs important functions and raises alkaline pH, and it reduces tension and inflammation as it removes toxins and pathogens. Doc Mike's, on a side note, Doc Mike's 12-year-old urine is got a 14.0 pH rating. That's the highest alkaline you can get.
Wow.
Wow. You should try his water. It was very good. Thank you. Benefits from UT include feeling good in your body, better confidence, better sense of self, concentration, mental peace, improved memory, clarity, and creativity. Thanks to Orin with nutrients such as serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin, magnesium, B vitamins, DHEA, people report feeling calm, patient, and safe. And who doesn't need that in 2022?
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, the people who are going to come into your life, I have this almost every day. They're out of balance. They're in urgency mode. They're in emergency mode. They're desperate. And your job is to stay steady like a 911 operator and trust that they'll find their answers and they'll come back to balance again without getting caught up in their drama. Take a breath.
Mhm.
The fact that you're studying the subject, the fact that you might even consider being a teacher or a therapist of urine therapy, is going to prepare you for people who are seeking this modality and will find you. And I love referring clients to other people because I already got more than I can handle. Matter of fact, beginning of last year, I put together, and it's still in process, the Water Family Directory. You can find it at brothersage.com. The Water Family Directory is a growing list of urine therapy teachers and therapists all over the world, and it's designed that anybody can find a teacher nearby if they need one and they could talk to them. So if you ever want to be listed on that and you feel like you're either a beginner, intermediate, or an advanced teacher, let me know. Okay, page 26, we continue here. With the absence of chemicals that cause addictions, many have gained their freedom from these self-destructive habits within a week of drinking pee. We've got guys that came on our World Urine Therapy conference call and in front of everybody admitted their addiction and how urine therapy turned it around. One guy was addicted to masturbating and pornography. He broke it. One person was addicted to cocaine. Another person was addicted to whatever it was. And these people are finding their way to freedom. And when that guy came out and said he was addicted to pornography, everybody just like relaxed and realized this is all addictions.
Yeah.
It ain't one
Mhm.
addiction. It's anything that
Mhm.
overrides you.
Wow.
Elizabeth.
So did the people with the cocaine addictions, did they have to stop the cocaine first, or did they actually start the urine therapy while they were still?
They started, and I would say this to anybody who's dealing with a serious addiction. You start where you're at, start
Yeah.
making the other changes, and there will come a time when the chemistry in the brain or the wiring changes and the craving disappears. The body weans itself.
Mhm.
Honestly, you think that's, I mean, I've got one of my patients is a super hardened heroin addict. I mean, unbelievable. You think it would work,
Mhm.
but wouldn't his urine taste like really bad?
Well, what's his diet like?
What's his diet like?
Oh, yeah,
It's bad.
his diet is bad. Okay, well,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think so. It's
we've got
lots
to
of,
get we've got to ask the deep questions in order to find out if people are motivated, if they have a higher passion and desire to live, or would they prefer to die.
yeah, okay.
And if people are motivated and they're passionate and they'll do whatever it takes, oh yeah, they'll get through it, and the struggle won't be as difficult. Plus you've got each other, and plus you've got me and the Water family as a backup team. If you need to call out and you're in a tough situation, I handle these calls all the time. So yes to the question about addictions. And that was Dr. Gupta in 1984. He quit smoking cigarettes after 3 days, never turned back. And what I love about using urine therapy is that you don't have to go to a rehab center, and they don't have to give you, a drug for a drug to wean you off, and it's so much more natural and easier on your system. I can't wait to get this into AA groups.
Mhm.
While everybody is out there drinking coffee, I'm going to be serving urine. Here, guys, have some.
Could you remind me again who you're talking about when you say Dr. Gupta?
Dr. Vijay Gupta. Well, let's approach him several different ways. He's part of our board of director of our nonprofit here in Colorado called Shivambhu. He's from India. He's been doing urine therapy since 1984. What brought us together, what's interesting is that his field of study at the University of Colorado for 35 years was hydrology, the study of water, the science of water. So he made academia know about urine therapy in his own way. But anyway, he ended up having some kind of emergency. He ends up at the hospital in ER, and they put him through the system, and they were going to get him into hospice and kill him until we intervened and brought in Doc Mike and got him off all the things they were putting in his body, and we're able to get him to rehab and bring him home. And now we're doing urine therapy on him and feeding him juices, and he's little by little being able to talk again and get better. So that's Dr. Vijay Gupta. And I've been putting that on social media for the last 2 months, and people have been sending a lot of prayers and good energy because they know him from the. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see him and his wife Indira on some of the urine therapy conference Zoom calls. So that's Vijay. Any questions? All right, let's finish this chapter here. The newfound confidence has been inspiring many UT enthusiasts to radically change and improve their food choices, some call it diet. Even more, move toward living foods or a fruitarian lifestyle. Shivambhu, like breathing, is a miracle. Now, some people say, well, I don't know if I can do all raw foods. I don't know if I could live off fruit. I don't know if I could fast. Well, you don't know till you try, but a lot of people are so attached to their food because their food has a lot of meaning to them. I'm not pointing at you, Monica. But the reason people have a hard time not eating or fasting or moving into a more alive type of diet is because they have emotional attachments and they have meaning to the food, meaning mom gave you something and you thought that meant love, that meant comfort because mom made it for me. And so when you grow up and you're feeling sad, depressed, and suffering, oftentimes we eat food unconsciously because they want that feel good to come back. But if you replace it with a different form of reward or a different form of a connection, that will become your go-to. Like there are days I'll eat mangoes and that's it for the whole day. I mean, it's just a matter of how you create a whole new neural link or a new connection to what you call food.
I used to be a chef, so food was my living.
Yeah, and you
preparing
have
food and feeding people.
Yeah, I can see why you have a love affair with it. And I was raised in a family where whoever cooked the meal was excused from doing the dishes. So I got really good at helping Dad, and I learned cuisine. And then when I became a raw foodist in 1977, I got really good at raw food, gourmet foods, and I wrote a recipe book on live foods. And that's what I thought it was all about. And I became a nutritionist, and I taught all about nutrition. I taught about this, all the big stuff. And then when I got into urine therapy, none of it made any sense because to me it was all about coming from a belief system that I'm not okay and there's something missing and I need to get something outside of myself. Well, when I got into urine therapy, it closed that relationship with all those external factors, and I was able to heal myself and be able to thrive on this. So there's a journey, there's a process. Take a breath. Are there any exceptions to who can benefit from urine therapy? No. AUT can be practiced by anybody, whether they are young, old, babies, sick, or healthy, without any expenditure and without a little basic knowledge. It does not produce any side effects, after effects, ill effects, which are generally unavoidable with the use of medicines or surgery. AUT treatments are fast, inexpensive, free, harmless, safe, and simple to administer for any chronic or acute illness without the help from any doctor or medical profession. There are 2 protocols I forgot to mention, which I will go into in the next couple days. The belly button soak, the navel soak, and urine injections. I'm not going to demonstrate that. Urine injections are a lifesaver if somebody has a anaphylactic shock. Did I pronounce it right? If they go into shock, they can't urinate, they pass out, they're having dizzy spells, you inject that into their butt muscle and their thigh, boom, they come back. When Andrew Norton Weber was dealing with wasp stings, he was very allergic to wasp stings, and it dawned on him to put urine on the wasp sting. He did not swell up, he did not go into shock, and he found his cure. I sometimes paint murals in the back of this property. I was painting a mural, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes hornets. Didn't see them. They're underneath the roof, and I got hit a couple times with a hornet. Well, boom. Well, pee on it, Sage. So I did. Within about 5 minutes, the pain, the intensity left. The sting popped out. The stinger popped out, and all was left was a little purple mark. And by the end of the day, it had cleared up. It does wonders if you're out in the sun, if you like to sunbathe. I oftentimes go to this clothing optional hot springs here in Colorado, and my friends are slathering on all the SPF 35, that sunscreen garbage. And at the end of the day, 2 or 3 hours are laying in the sun, they're whining and moaning, going, "Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts." I said, "Oh, I feel sorry for you, but my body feels great, and I got a great suntan because the urine will take the sting out in 10 minutes, and you'll be left with a lovely tan."
So you put it on before, like in place of a sunscreen, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I'm out in the public and I need to collect some, I just go walk down a trail somewhere and grab some and put it all over my body.
Mhm.
So this is part of the things you need to know in your immediate first aid. Elizabeth.
So I have a question about the belly button soaks. So what I've been doing is, do you know what post-operative Band-Aids are? They're not like Band-Aids in the traditional sense, but they seal off an area with kind of like a saran wrap.
Okay, so that puts it on like a tape.
Yeah. So I've done that. I've left at the end of the session, I've done that with my clients. It can't be super wet, but it actually holds it in. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds similar to either compresses or body wraps.
Yes. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just because it's wet, it has to be. Okay, so you're okay with that?
Totally okay with it. In the book, I mentioned body wraps, and you just simply put something over the bed or over the massage table, like plastic or something or other, and then you're gonna get a wool or flannel material, soak it all over your body, then either wrap in saran wrap or plastic or whatever it is that you can keep it held in place, and just lay there for a couple hours.
Okay.
It's like a cocoon. Sheena?
Would that type of procedure work with scars?
It'll work with scars. Yep. It'll work with bruises, cuts. I don't know if it takes off tattoos. No.
Muscular things?
Muscular things, aches and pains. By the way, it was Dr. Group. I don't know if you heard about Dr. Group yet, but we've been working together. It's been a whole lot of fun. He had people who were thinking of getting stem cell injections in their knees, which costs a heck of a lot of money. And he started injecting urine around the kneecaps, and they healed the pain in the knees.
Wow. So arthritis type things too, then, yeah. Wow.
It's free stem cells. My housemate, who's been having a tough time, he's 76, and we used to go for long hikes, and now he can't even hardly walk around because he wobbles, and he's a gardener. But he finally caught on that what I was saying was serious, and so he was soaking it on his knees while he was in the bath. He didn't tell me he was doing that, but I ended up going in to take a bath one day, and I saw his wine goblet with urine in it. I'm going, good for you. So people are paying attention. All right, we're still going. We're on page 27. Shivambhu devotees are healthy people who rely on UT to remain healthy, whereas a sick person can be free of their challenges very promptly. UT is self-evident, self-contained, and reliable source of the water of life. Can pets be treated with urine therapy? Anybody have a pet?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to love this. Many of the research tests on urine recycling have proven it works well with animals. Veterinarians have successfully used urine therapy at clinics as a treatment by administering urine orally. We're getting a lot of testimonials from people Let me bookmark this. We get a lot of testimonials from people who have been giving urine to their cats, their dogs, their guinea pigs, their ferrets, or whatever they have in the house, and they've seen not only their health turn around, but their hair improve, their skin get better. You're probably not going to stand underneath your cat to try to collect its pee or your dog, so use yours, and that's what the pet owners are doing. You can either hide it in their water, their food, or you can massage it on their paws. And there are some people tell me their dogs look forward to having it in their water bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some dogs, they know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught some of the YouTube videos that I was posting at the Shivambhu hut, but there are videos going around with orangutans bending over backwards, peeing in their mouth. Giraffes know how to do this.
Yes.
Camels know how to do this. All kinds of animals are doing this already. Even elks. We had videos of elks. So it's already known to them, and we're the ones who's getting caught up. Any questions? So that's about pets. I'm on page 28. Which diseases can be remedied by Orin therapy? All of them. That's the short version. The only ones they don't work on is the ones who don't think it's going to help, and so their doubt gets in the way. You got to watch out for that. That's a virus. When you're moving toward healing yourself, you got to watch out for your doubts. Orin is the body's perfect medicine and not a man-made medicine for any disease. It is a means provided by one's nature to keep up the health of the body and cure the host or the body, which is you, of any diseases regardless of personal belief system. As such, there are no limiting conditions that Orin cannot heal. It is only the mind that creates difficulties or impossible tasks for our body to heal itself. The Course in Miracles, anybody a Course in Miracles student? Oh, I love you guys. Course in Miracles says there is no order of difficulty in miracles. Not one is more difficult than another, which basically says that we made up or we assigned which is more difficult. Healing a cut finger or cancer. We made it all up. The body doesn't know difficulty. It just knows how to do its job, which is to restore your health. Our job is to pay attention and listen to your intuition. The antigen urinary in the Orin of the patient. I missed a paragraph here. Orin is a natural auto-vaccine that acts as an immune modulator that is very specific and personal. Auto-vaccine, defined by the medical dictionary, is a vaccine prepared from cultures of organisms of a virus from the patient's tissues or secretions. So whether you believe in the virus or germ theory or don't, whether you believe vaccines work or don't, you have it in your hand at all times. You have it ready for you. There's actually a guy who came out on YouTube who was saying this cures COVID. And boy, he got demonized by the mainstream media. But all the guys that are in the freedom movement, all the guys that are like us, were going, yeah, thank you for doing that. The antigen urinary in the Orin of the patient, a natural protein that the body eliminates, has no risk or side effects and can be taken in combination with other natural resources, allowing us to simply reduce and eliminate the immunosuppressors and chemotherapy medications that are being prescribed. We have the ability to create our own vaccine. All the microorganisms that infect our systems, from toxins, endotoxins, stimulates our immunologic system to form antibodies, antitoxins, antigens, whatever you call them, which are discarded in the Orin. When we take it in, we force the bacteria to take their own toxins. This is why you've heard the expression poison kills poison. That's what homeopathy was based on. Like, and like. Orin therapy acts as an auto-vaccine that has the same elements of our own illness. That's the homeopathic model. It has antiviral action, anti-neoplastic, anti-spasmodic, diuretic, anti-allergenic, anti-convulsive, cardiovascular stimulant, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, bactericide, and antifungal as well. What's always fun is when you're doing an enema or you're in the bathroom and you spill some urine on the floor and you realize you just cleaned the floor. But in an old way of thinking, you'd go, oh, disgusting, clean it up immediately. I mean, I got a kick when I was doing enemas and the tube would slip out and there's urine all over the place. I'm going, wow, it's already clean. So you can see it's a different mindset. Oh, things are popping up over my screen here. All right, we're on page 29. I'm just going to skip down to this last paragraph so we have time to have an open discussion here. Do you mean that even a diagnosis is unnecessary? Whether using medical devices, kinesiology, or intuition, these are subjective or a guess. That's what a diagnosis from a doctor is basically, it's a guess. Did you ever read the Four Agreements?
Mhm.
Don Miguel Ruiz calls the medical practice a form of black magic. He says they give you a diagnosis, they give you what they call their diagnosis or their label or their identity with that disease. And if you go in agreement with it, guess what happens? You get it. He says they hypnotize patients into believing that's what really going on, when really your body's doing its natural course, which is to purify itself. But they're not trained in that. They're not trained in nutrition. That's why that system's falling apart. Oh, did I
Well,
I got political. Oh, go ahead.
it's like they plant seeds. And if your mind, it's where your consciousness is, if it will grow or not.
Right.
You know, like they say, oh, that person's going to die in 6 months. And if that person's mind believes that, then the body starts shutting down.
Exactly. And how they seem to have a gain, some kind of edge on humanity, as people go there with still somewhat of a belief in that guy and in that system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're like halfway already convinced. They're holding back for something else, but you're already inside their net, like the spider web.
Yeah.
So you have to be really clean and have really good discernment to know that he was full of crap and you could walk right out of there.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. I'll take that under suggestion, under advisement. I'll let you know if I want to work with you.
Tricky.
It is tricky. When my wife had colon cancer, we took her to a so-called medical expert doctor who said, "Oh, you've got 3 tumors inside your colon. We're going to take out 2 and leave 1 in there and see what happens." Within a week, she's in hospice, and 6 days later, she was dead.
Oh.
And I couldn't understand why he left anything inside her, and I didn't think to sue the guy, but that's what happened.
Wow.
So you need to know your medical rights. Now, Indira, who was taking her husband to the hospital, they said, "Were you vaccinated?" And he said no. So they tested him, and he showed signs of negative signs for COVID. But they decided to give him remdesivir, if I pronounced it right. Anyway, they gave him 3 shots of it. They did not consult with his wife, who has the medical power of attorney. And they did not, they didn't get the connection between, like 2 days after that, he was having excess mucus coming down his throat. He was having trouble swallowing. Those are listed as the side effects of this drug. So why
They're
do you
criminals.
think they are criminals? And there's a mafia, and they're run by a darker force. And so when Doc Mike came down here from Chicago, we came in as strong, powerful advocates to get his ass out of there to save him. And that's what we were doing with that medical world. I don't know if Indira is going to sue him, but stay tuned. Right now we're helping him get back to life. So I'll just read this last part here, and then let's open it up for discussions. It is wonderful. This is page 30. It's wonderful, but why was this philosophy that was so beneficial and trusted kept a secret until now? This old philosophy and cure never disappeared at all. It has been around with us and still is here, but our modern prejudiced mentality didn't allow AUT to be understood or discussed up until now. Insects, birds, fish, quadrupeds are already using this means instinctively, like I mentioned earlier. You can see on YouTube videos of orangutans, reindeer, camels, giraffes drinking their pee straight into their mouth. Only human beings intoxicated by their own intellectual power have neglected this sacred practice. They are using their skills and knowledge mainly for selfish ends. Any questions about what we studied today in class?
Well, I have a question, like, you know, that sediment on the bottom of the jar.
Yep.
Should you shake that up and drink it as well, or do you let it settle and then, I don't know, what would you do with it?
Well, what you're looking at is the white sediment.
Mhm.
Might be different colors, but it's basically concentrated stem cells and white blood cells. I would stir it up and use it. Drink it or apply it.
Okay.
Some people look at the different colors of their urine or the things that are found in their urine, and they try to write a story about, well, maybe it's something bad or bad bacteria or it's heavy metals or whatever it is. I said the body produced it for you. It's just your mind talk that's causing you to resist it. So use it.
Okay.
Now, after people are cleaning out the foot soak urine and they're using it over and over and over again, if you decide that for some reason you don't want it anymore, what do you think you would do with it?
On plants, use it in the garden and on plants, and
Stick it
they
in your
would,
garden. Stick it
yeah.
in your house plants. Yep.
Mhm.
Because of the high nitrogen content, a lot of agricultural industries are using urine.
Mhm.
Sheena, you have a question?
No.
So between now and our next class, which is going to be Wednesday, you guys keep a journal?
Not
Sort of.
consistently.
All right. Anything that comes to your attention the next couple days that you need answers for, write it down and bring it to class.
Mhm.
Anything that you discover with your protocols during the next couple days, bring it to class. Anything you want to share with the class, with the students, bring that to class on Thursday, okay?
Wednesday, you said.
Like I said, Wednesday,
Wednesday.
you're my 5th class. I got 2 more coming up in the next couple of months. So yeah, so bring anything you want to bring to class next Wednesday. I'm going to get it next Wednesday. If you guys get the books, let me know. Did I tell you we're producing where's that other book? We're producing a small version of this book. Did I tell you guys about this?
Yeah.
I'm working with a virtual assistant in California. We're going to shrink this down so it's hand size. And it's going to include 50 to 60 pages of the most important questions of the how, why, what of urine therapy. You know, everything you can imagine just filled up with this book, as well as how to handle doubters and naysayers, with some resources in the back. And it's going to be really affordable, and people are already asking for dozens of these, so you can hand it out in person.
Well, when's it going to be ready?
When I know, you'll know. Right now, we're working on the content. We're putting things together. We want to get it. I think we can get it down to $5, and anybody in the world can get it on Amazon. My other books.
I don't do Amazon. I'm not an Amazon supporter.
Not a problem. Where do you live again?
In British Columbia.
British
Canada.
Columbia. We'll figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure something out. Just stay in touch with me.
Mm-hmm.
There's always ways to get it to you, either shipped through one of the various distribution people or directly from me if we can figure out how it's cost effective.
Yeah.
The other option would be to send it by PDF, but then you have to print it out.
Yeah.
That's a little more work.
No, I want a copy signed, please.
Well, I've shipped to Switzerland. I've shipped to Canada. I've shipped to England. and it cost me like $25-$30 for shipping.
Yeah, yeah.
But people wanted it. Sure, if you want to put up the money, I'll
But
ship.
maybe even several, like maybe even a dozen, I can hand them out. Would that be a good idea?
Anything's possible. Yeah, we just have to figure out the logistics on that.
Mm.
So I mentioned the Water Family Directory. I mentioned we have urine therapy conference calls every 2 weeks or so. And we've averaged anywhere from 5 guest speakers to 45 attendees from all over the world. We've got the Water Family Directory. We've got the Shivambhu Hut. If you go to shivambhu.org, you can find out how the members are supporting each other. And there is an incredible amount of people that want to get to know each other. So you can plug in and find someone to talk to about a subject you normally can't talk to other people about.
Is it just Shivambhu Hut, or is there a .com or .org or something?
Well, go to the chat feed, and I typed in shivambhu.org.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name. That's the website of our nonprofit, and in there is a link to Shivambhu Hut,
Okay.
and it's currently a free membership. Now, McLean, who's on our board of directors, she's putting together our second newsletter. The other one is already at the hut. The newsletter is called Urine, the Spotlight. And we've got all kinds of content and writings and articles and videos from celebrities out there who've been coming public and telling people to drink their urine.
Nice.
Like Lori Ladd and David Wolf and Jason Shurka and Dr. Group. Oh, by the way, I'm working on getting, you know who Monica Schuett is?
Yeah.
Her and
She's so awesome. She's so pumped and enthusiastic, and I love to listen to her.
Yeah,
she's very inspiring.
She's a goddess. She's our poster child. And so her and I have been dialoguing back and forth. We've been working on getting an interview together for 3 years, and we're getting closer by the minute. We almost did it yesterday, but my schedule was too full. So
yeah, I love her.
So yeah, check her out on Instagram and on. She's got several. She does a lot of writing in Spanish, so you'll see her in the urine therapy Spanish community. Anything else before we call it a day?
So you're going to start at 10:30 again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same link every time. Should be the same login information. Curtis, let us know how it goes with the pregnant woman.
Yeah, I will. She's definitely interested. This will be recorded, right? So I can watch it over again.
Yeah, when we're done, I'll have it uploaded.
And will you be going over parasites at all?
Parasites?
Yeah.
In terms of eliminating them?
Yeah.
Are you doing anything with urine therapy for parasites right now?
No, I just spent a lot of money on it and had crazy results. I was just wondering if this would.
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing as getting rid of bad bacteria and heavy metals.
Okay.
Because anything that's foreign to the body, anything that is attacking the body gets resolved with the urine.
So are you going to do a session about that specifically, or?
Not in great detail. I mean, I didn't even write about it in the book. It'd be good to address that, but I would approach it as the same with any kind of contaminant or breach to the body.
Because in my perception, just from, I think parasites have a lot to do with disease and sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really get talked about very much.
Right.
Same as this.
Well, I don't know. He's talking about urine therapy and parasites, so we can have an open discussion and see where we get with it. And it'd be a good thing to post in some of the social media groups, see what their feedback is.
Yeah, apparently enemas are supposed to be really good for to get rid of parasites and worms and stuff like that with aged or with you know, more so with aged, I guess, from what I know.
Sure. I mean, you can use either one, and the whole idea is to basically kill them, get them out of you. Now the parasites are very clever. When people have used black walnut hull and clove, and they use all these parasite formulas, sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, because parasites have a survival mechanism and they will hide in different cells and different tissues. So you got to get to the core of these critters to get them out of you. And the beautiful thing about the urine therapy is that it's small enough it can get everywhere. And Curtis, if you ever want to have a one-on-one with me on that, we can always do that.
Okay.
All right, guys. Last chance to have a question.
Your Telegram group, Brother Sage, I've tried looking for it, but I can't find it.
It's called Urine Therapy Does a Body Good.
All like any spaces in between, or?
I wrote it up as urine therapy semicolon or colon ... does a body good. If you'll if you reach out to me by email or however you reach out to me, I'll send you the invite link.
Okay, thank you.
There's approximately 295 members right now.
Nice.
There's about 6 urine therapy Telegram groups. When you graduate, you get to join the elite golden grads who have taken these courses, and there's about 12 of them right now, and they're on there every day. One gal, Fiona, she works with a microscope. She knows dark cell microscopy, so she's able to do 50 and 100 zoom magnification and look really into the urine and see things that we can't see with the naked eye. So I'd like to get
Oh, wow, that would be so interesting to see.
Yeah, and I would like her to post more pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the kind of people who are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want the link to the Telegram group, Sheena, just send me a reminder.
Okay, thank you.
But not in the chat feed, because once I close this off, it's going to go into the publishing mode, and
Okay.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing to do is a group hug. I love you guys. Thanks for being part of this.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Curtis is
Yeah, yeah.
Aww.
Very nice. All right, guys. You guys.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.